Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Heart Eyes. And this is a new horror, dark, romantic comedy coming your way from director Josh Rubin of Werewolves Within, which I thought was absolutely fun and really enjoyed that movie. This is co-written by Christopher Landon of Happy Death Day fame, and this film focuses on two young people who wind up being caught up in a situation where they're misconstrued as a couple, even though there's definitely feelings, and they are targeted by this infamous serial killer, the Heart Eyes Killer, who's been wreaking havoc on Valentine's Day for years. And they go on the run from this murderer, and this film has, it really rides high on Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding, and both of them very charismatic performers in their own right, and they have really good chemistry. I love their dynamic, their banter, their just bickering back and forth, and then also some of the more tender moments between them. That all works. Now, in terms of the romantic comedy elements, the romance elements feel very cliched. You do have some nice quieter moments, but this film keeps leaning into these very, on the nose kind of rom-com tropes. It does get funny and silly with some of them, her friend on a phone call starts, randomly, name-dropping a whole bunch of rom-coms in just this conversation. And, those kinds of silly elements lighten the mood. This film also has a really great sense of humor, and it has no problem cutting off some really tense, scary moments with just bam humor. And that bam cutting joke in there, that physical comedy, all of those things actually get a lot of good laughs out of you. And this is a legitimately fun film that has a silly kind of experience with it. But when you get into the horror elements, I do feel like there's, especially when there's action going on, it is over-edited, it is choppy and clunky in terms of how it shows certain events happening. But the practical effects are really impressive, and there's blood and guts galore here. There's some crazy kills for sure, and it's brutal. There's a bluntness to, when somebody gets hit, somebody gets slashed, and the sound design is woof, a giant machete coming through the air and slamming into a body. It's just you feel it. This whole experience really accentuates those kills in this film, and those elements bucket of guts. It really works. I do feel the horror slasher elements work better than the rom-com elements, because at least it feels a little bit more fresh and interesting. I do feel storytelling-wise is kind of clunky, because there's a lot of really big winking at you, here's a hint at what's going to happen. And it does get very self-referential, which is fun. But then there's also really cliche, just underwhelming elements in terms of when it really comes down who really did this and those kinds of things. But this film is a bunch of fun. It has some of its charming elements. It has its blood and guts. It's just one of those kinds of films that it's flawed, for sure. It has its drawbacks that hold this back from really being that crazy Valentine's Day horror classic it's really trying to go for. But Holt and Gooding are just so charismatic together. There's some fine supporting turns here. You have Jordana Brewster popping up, but there's just too many clunky elements to this film that will take you out of the film at times for you to really get completely lost in the experience. But for a crazy over-the-top slasher for Valentine's Day, it's still buckets of fun. But those are my thoughts on Heart Eyes. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.